Four-term state representative Diane Russell has been a longtime advocate for cannabis reform. Now with question 1 poised to change the conversation in Maine, we connected with her to see how this bill has been crafted to benefit all parties involved. Have you had trouble getting any traction since marijuana legalization has become a bit boring to the media?
You know, it used to be that David Boyer and I would sneeze and someone would be there to report on it because it was so sexy. And now they're like, we got other things that we're working on. We're not sure if we're going to show up. The moment you become boring, the moment that you know you've kind of already won. And so when you get to the point where nobody really cares about the issue, it means that there's been a real culture shift. And I think that that's kind of where we are right now.
With that culture shift comes a bigger window for bigger business.
Yeah.
How do you hope to protect the small farmers that are actively involved in marijuana growth now from the influx of big money?
Half of the no on one is because they're afraid of this big business. And, I'm a liberal. I don't want Walmart. I don't want a weed mart. We are a city that is, and a state, frankly, that has a vibrant microbrewery economy here. And Anheuser-Busch still is able to do what it does, but nobody buys Anheuser-Busch here in Portland or in Maine. They buy the microbrews. And I'd like to see a microbud economy really sprout up, so to speak. Where big marijuana concerns exist, and I agree about this, is when it's federalized, right?
Sure.
And so I think that's also where strong, smart regulations at the state level allow us to be able to convince our members of Congress to not preempt state law. That's going to be the magic fight.
A lot of those people are bucking regulation in general, though, and can't necessarily be relied upon to follow the new regulations. How do you hope to work with that?
Some of that's going to come down to training, and some of that is going to come down to if you don't want to be regulated, then you should stay in the industry you're in. If you want to move into the adult space, then you're going to have to meet a certain threshold of regulations. I think that's fair. Government's job is to make sure that we're creating the space where adults can responsibly consume, that there are consequences if they don't, that they're not furnishing to children, and that they're able to know that their product is safe. Those are the roles of government, to tax it, to regulate it. The challenge, too, is for people that are completely anti-regulation, they're going to end up so over-regulated because they're going to refuse to actually do what needs to get done to regulate responsibly.
Sure, it's about the non-consumer as much as it's about the cannabis enthusiast.
You really hit the nail on the head. I'm not a marijuana girl. I'm a bourbon girl, right? I just think that it should be regulated and it should be legal, and that I'd rather build schools like that one right there as opposed to prisons. Non-marijuana consumers have a right to have a voice in how it is regulated because they are part of society. And if you want to be part of civilized life and civilized society, this is part of the deal. If you want it legalized, there is a quid pro quo. That's just how it works. And if you're unable to work in a civilized society, then you're going to completely stay in the black market and you're going to get in trouble for it. And then you're going to be even more mad.
Well, thank you so much for everything you're doing.